Hi, we're the KThree, and this is our Astro Corner, where we take a slightly different view at K-drama land and our favorite actors. This time, we're going to take a look at Tauruses. And there's a lot of really good Tauruses, but I thought was really interesting when I was looking at our list of people, there are 3 of our favorite actors are all born on May 16th. So I thought, all different years. So I thought we would kind of take a look at how astrology is different based on when you arrived on the planet, even if you arrived on the same day, just a different year.
But first, we have these Dodger hats here. It was Korea night at the LA Dodgers, and so we have some hats that we're going to give away to you.
To you.
Yes.
How are we going to do this? We would like you to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below any video in August. And then at the end of August, once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we are going to then draw 2 names and send you one of these amazing hats.
But Jen, I count 3 hats. What are we going to do with the 3rd?
I don't know, Karen. What are we going to do?
Well, the 3rd hat is reserved for our special big prize when we do reach that 1,000 subscriber mark. And thank you all to who have subscribed. Whether you were number 1 or whether you will be number 1,000, we're going to throw you all in the mix for a drawing. We're going to throw a hat in and some great K3 stuff and send it to you to thank you for your support.
So so let's make August the 1,000 mark. Yay! I feel like we should be talking about Virgos or Leos, but we're not. We're talking about Tauruses this time. Maybe late, I know, right? So Taurus, it basically is mid-April to mid-May. And these guys are kind of almost right there at the end, May 16th. And the 3 that we are going to talk about today are Ju Ji-hoon, Kim Kwan, and Ji-hoon, also known as IU. And they are all born, obviously different years, but it's really interesting. I find it super fascinating. This is why I love astrology. So we look at Ju Ji-hoon. So when you think of Ju Ji-hoon, what is it, like, what is your first kind of like impression of him?
Commanding presence on screen.
Yep.
Usually in charge.
Yeah. Karen? That's it?
I'll go with it.
Does anyone else besides me think he's kind of quirky? Marco? Marco thinks he's quirky.
Yes. So along with the gods, definitely.
Yeah, right?
Surprisingly quirky and fun in that. And if you go all the way back to Princess, well, you can't go back to Princess Hours because that was one of his first, and I don't think I wish he was quirky in that.
Right.
And what was he in? He was an item.
He was an item, like just a little bit. I mean, again, the commanding presence and all of that kind of stuff, but kind of like just a little bit outside the norm.
Yeah.
Like just not, you can tell that life for him is not going to be standard. At least that's what I get from him by watching him. Yeah. And his moon actually calls to that. So he is definitely a Taurus sun. He is an Aquarius moon, which puts him emotionally kind of outside the norm. Like emotionally, he feels safest when things are a little less traditional. Yeah, you know? And so he's going to want to make those kind of bold moves or, you know, interesting choices. And it's kind of like that. So I was really excited to see that that's what his moon showed up as. And then we don't have his rising again because we don't have birth times. And so you just kind of have to guess what looking at kind of just his planets, just kind of get an overview of what his personality is. Now, he has what I find interesting, he does have a Sun Chiron conjunction. Now, Sun is your life force, and Chiron is your wounded healer, and they're both in Taurus. So he kind of has this life force that is about the finer things and being stable, and it's kind of ruled by Venus, so it is lovely, and it's about, you know, enjoying the finer things. It's about being a little bit stubborn, but it's also about self-worth. So the thing about Taurus, which I find really interesting because of his scandal back in the day, is he has some issues with self-worth and how he manifests that. And so since his sun, his life force, is conjunct his wounded healer, and they're both in Taurus, I find that to be really interesting, also knowing his issues back in the day. And so that I found really interesting. He then has a Mercury over here in Gemini, which means that for his communication style, the boy's a talker. He's right?
I can attest.
He's not, if you ever get in a conversation with Ju Ji-hoon, just be prepared to listen a lot.
And take probably many different paths here. And
pivots and crosses.
Like
and,
a pinball
right?
machine.
And he's just going to dazzle you with the amount of data that he has on any given subject. It's going to be amazing. His Venus is over in Aries. So I mean, ladies, if you find him attractive, that's why. Because that's an aggressive isn't the right word, but it's a very commanding, strong. He's not a wallflower in any way, shape, or form.
He's assured.
Exactly. Yeah. It's definitely that assured confidence and relationship. You know, when we talked about Sung Joong Ki and how he's a Leo, his Venus is in Leo, and so he's just a known flirt. It's kind of that kind of command, because they're both fire signs. So it's kind of that same commanding, like when the Ju Ji-hoon energy is focused on you, you're kind of like, like you're gonna like dig it. But I also think it might be a little overwhelming. Where that Leo energy is more like, oh my god, hi. Oh, how are you? It's so good to see you. Like that kind of flirty bit. Aries is gonna be more like, hello. Yeah. It's good to see you. And you're like, oh boy. Like you're going to like wonder if your hair looks okay. And especially if you're into this person. So the Aries energy is a very direct, intense energy. And he's got that. Mm-hmm. And then over here, his Mars is in Libra. So he's got that nice, he does, all of his signs kind of play really well together, right? Except for the Taurus. The Taurus kind of sits off to the side because he's got a lot of air in his chart. So much air in his chart. Air and fire, I'm sorry. So those play nicely together, air and fire. And so he's got his Venus is over here in Aries, and opposite that is his Mars. But because of that, he's got this the way he takes action. So the way he's going to relate to you is going to be very intense, and you're going to be like, he's amazing, he's super into me. But the way he's going to take action is going to be more like, is everybody okay? All right. Everybody's happy? I don't want to upset you. I don't want to upset you. Okay.
So very balanced.
Very balanced.
Taking everyone into consideration.
Right. Kind of so you've got that Libra energy we've talked about again, about trying to keep that balance and trying to make sure everybody's happy and content and nobody's upset, and like that really, you know, chill energy, right? So that's how he plays in that. And then you look over here and you've got his North Node is in Cancer. So he's got this North Node in Cancer. So he is here on the planet to kind of develop that nurturing side of him, which I find interesting because in his item character, that's what he was doing. And it actually, I was surprised how well he played that because he is such a quirky, aggressive, you know, strong character that I was like, I don't know how this dad thing's going to play out for him really nicely because he stepped into what he is here to do, right? But so his South Node is this Capricorn. So it's much more of that aggressive energy. So I find that he's, again, with astrology, I mean, you can make almost anything work, but I do find that the roles that I'm the most drawn to him fit what his profile is with what we just talked about. So because we're running out of time and I could probably talk about him for so much, we're going to move on. Kim Kwan, he came out of nowhere for me.
Yeah,
right?
He did.
And he's adorable, but boy, does that boy like the camera. Oh my God. If you follow him on Instagram or even follow anybody who follows him on Instagram.
A lot of selfies.
Ooh, he likes a selfie and he likes a shirtless selfie. Oh, it's hilarious. So a completely different Taurus, right?
Yeah.
Completely different Taurus. And I find that super, again, really interesting. And that's what I love about astrology. Because people are like, everybody, you're born on the same day. It's the same thing. You're all Tauruses. No. Ju Ji-hoon is an Aquarian moon. Kim Kwan over here is a Libra moon, but possibly a Virgo moon. I'm almost leaning toward a Virgo moon. Mm-hmm.
Why?
There's something about him that strikes me. He's already got the Earth energy with the Taurus, but there's something about the way even with his selfies, they have to be perfect.
Oh yes, they're
not a casual. There's nothing about
like,
him.
Click, click.
Yeah.
Post.
No. My guess is he took like 75 before he posted that. So that's just a very Virgo thing. Like it's just, I could be way wrong, but there's something about him that screams.
Anybody knows Kim Kwan? Let us know.
A dash of Virgo in there, and that's why when I was like, oh, okay. You know, so he doesn't like that Libra again, that equal, that balance. And he does have a little bit of that, so I could be wrong. But there's something very Virgo-esque about him with that. So, okay. So he's got a sun in Taurus. And that's the only Taurus he has. So different from Ju Ji-hoon, who has, you know, he has a Chiron in there. He only has his sun in Taurus. So it's kind of just who he is. So his presence is going to be grounded, which I think fits him very well. When you see him on camera, I feel like you're looking at a stable force. It's not erratic. It's not dark. Right. It's not, he's very stable and he's going to get stuff done and grounded, right? Huh. But then you look at his Mercury and his Venus are conjunct in Gemini. So again, that's a boy that's all over the place. So even though he has a force that's grounded, you might be drawn to that. The second you engage him in conversation or in a relationship, he is going to be he's going to be chatty Cathy and like talking all over the place and just, 4,000 ideas are going to be coming at you at all times. So you have to be prepared for that, even though it's, because you have a lot of air and Taurus. So this is Kim, Kwon, and Karen.
I understand.
I
understand.
I think we'll have Karen do this one instead because she can talk.
He and I would probably, if we ever met
Yes.
and got into a conversation, would probably be up to like 4 a.m.
Right, exactly.
And not even realize and be like, why are we so tired?
Yeah. Because they would keep talking
Blah,
and
blah, blah,
talking
blah, blah, blah,
and
bing, bing,
talking
bing, bing.
and talking.
Yep.
Yes, and everyone else would be like, I lost the thread 4 hours ago.
Everyone else would be asleep on the
I was
benches.
like, what is happening? Okay. So so he's got that combination going right there. And then you look over where his Mars is, and his Mars is over in Cancer. So he's got all this Gemini energy, he's got the Taurus energy, but then the way he's going to take action is going to be he's going to take care of you. So it's a little bit, my guess is
Will he take care of you in a frenetic way, though?
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
So it's going to make a lot of sense to him. Maybe not so much to you.
To the person receiving the care.
Exactly. I think it's gonna be a gentle care. And I think we saw that in what was that show that made us all so angry that we just watched? Oh, he's psychometric.
He's psychometric.
I think you saw that. Like you saw that kind of caretaking ability, but there was always kind of and again, that was his character, obviously, but he played it really well. And I think why we were so drawn to him is because it fit his personality. Like there's a part of him that wants to connect and be super, attached and, dive in and all that emotion that comes from Cancer. But he's got all this Gemini that just is like, no,
It's not gonna happen.
it's just you're never going to get that close to him because he's flitting off trying to figure something else out. And then you look at his nodes. North nodes, the nodes are my favorite thing. He's got a Pisces North node. That's my North node. We actually have almost a conjunct North node. So I get it. So he's in this world. Again, he's got that Virgo. Maybe this is where the Virgo energy is coming from. Maybe it's not his moon. But his Virgo is his South node. So he's very comfortable in that environment, which is very structured, very regimented, making sure everything is perfect. Everything, so that's, he will choke the life out of something just to make sure that it's in the way his brain needs it to work. And what he's here to do is to let things go and let things just kind of just accept that they're going to be fine. They're going to be good.
Interesting combination.
Right. So he's got a really interesting combination because it is kind of all over the board. Like he is, my guess is that there are days he just doesn't even know who he is because, he's got so many different energy signatures coming at him that it depends on what he wants to pull from. And if he's got that good Taurus grounding, then he's going to be able to pull at it correctly. If he's a little bit frenetic, it's going to get a little crazy. And then our last May 16th Taurus is probably my new girl crush. I'm not going to lie. And I know I'm so late to this game, so late to this party. But IU, she is a delight. I love her feminist stance out in the public. I love this character she's playing on Hotel de Luna. And she's a Taurus. And I am digging her so much.
She's so multifaceted with her talent.
Right?
Oh, God, yeah.
God, I love her.
A singer and a musician. And yeah.
She's amazing and fantastic. And I love her. And she's a 1993 Taurus. So I find it really interesting that each of them, born on May 16th, have these wide different chunks of energies to them. So she actually is she's the one that doesn't have a Gemini Mercury. She's got a Taurus Mercury. So when she talks to you, she's talking to you. It is not going to be light. It is not going to be airy. It's going to be direct. It is going to be serious. It's not that she's not fun, because Tauruses are fun. They like the nice things, but Taurus is it's very direct. It's
eye on the target.
Stable, right. It's a very stable energy. It's very much about stability, and it's a fixed sign. So it's a very much that stability and self-worth and who are you and why are you and that kind of stuff. And that's how she communicates, and that's who she is. So I find that really, it's really fun to look at, because then you go over here and you look at her Mercury, not her Mercury, but her Venus, and it's in Aries. So she has that Ju Ji-hoon energy that is, I think we see it in Hotel de Luna. I think everybody who loves her so much over the past years have seen it. When she comes at you, she's coming at you. There is no avoiding that. Like, I see that in her Hotel de Luna character so much. It's just right there. She's got the serious personality that is very stable. And then when she wants to relate to you, she's not messing around. She's just jumping in and going for it, right? And then her moon is in Pisces. So that gives her the very empathetic stuff that I think draws people to her. So you've got this emotional standpoint, which is so encompassed of just everything. Like she wants to save the world, basically, right? Because Pisces are they're tapped into everything. They're almost too emotional. It's almost too emotional. The world's almost too emotional for them. But that's where she feels the most safe. That's where she is the happiest, is when she can help people and look out for people and do that type of stuff. So it's a really interesting combination that she's got going here. And then you got her Mars is over here in Leo. So of course she's going to be who she is. Like she has to be on stage. All of this everything she's doing is to make sure that you like and appreciate what she's doing for you. So she definitely, the fact that she's as well liked and as well as successful as she is not surprising to me at all. And then her North Node is over here in Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is that energy that is, it's about other cultures, and it's about stepping outside your comfort zone, and it's about being confident in it. Unlike the Aquarian energy, where it's just kind of like you in your own bubble of like being happy to think about outside possibilities. Sag is like, this is the path. I'm going to go off the path, but I'm going to keep going in that direction. So it's just a different kind of
So it's not just thinking about the path.
No.
It's taking the path.
Yeah. So it's a really good way to describe it. So it doesn't surprise me that she has such a large international fan base at all, because she's got that energy that is, she wants to spread whatever her message is to kind of that whole thing. So yeah. So she's fascinating.
Global.
She is really global. So she fascinates me. She's got a lot of really interesting stuff over here. And then she does actually have her Saturn is over here in Aquarius. So she does have that kind of quirky energy happening. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
which we also see in her characters.
Yeah, right? All the time. So I really, really dig her. And the only other thing that I'm going to talk about, because I think it's important, especially in women's charts, is your black moon. And the black moon is a very specific female energy, because it's about your inner femininity, or that kind of Lilith energy that we all have, that women have, and men have it in their charts too, but it's much more about who you are as a woman. And hers is in Pisces, and it's conjunct her moon. So who she is emotionally, and who her underlying like Lilith energy, so that's her kind of like dynamic like energy as a woman, is also 23 Pisces, and those are conjunct. So I love the fact that kind of plays with it. So it's kind of the dark and the light of what that Pisces energy is for her. And so I think we see that a lot.
So what do you see in here that maybe plays to her character that was in My Mister? Because that, despite not having watched it.
Right. I would say that was the Taurus energy for sure, because that is the nose to the grindstone, doing what it takes to get it done. I don't care what it is that I have to do. Self-worth, all of that kind of stuff, and then working really hard to achieve what it is you need to achieve.
Yeah, because she was really praised for that, her role in that show, which was a lot of recognition, but it was depressing. She was beat down. It was, it was hard.
But from what I remember, and I didn't watch it, she did have kind of that spark about her, which made it, like, even though it was really dark and bad, there was something about her that called, what was his name? Her Mister to her. And I think that's her Leo. I think that's the Leo portion of what her person, because I think if you put someone in there that maybe had a little bit of maybe a Scorpio, the Scorpio Mars, or more of a scorpionic kind of energy, it was just going to be too dark. And you'd be like, why is this guy even drawn to her? Like, I don't get it. But I think the reason that show works so well is she had that Leo energy and that Pisces energy, which is more healing energy, and the dynamic energy. And so that's why he was
drawn to that.
Yeah. And so you understood on a visceral level why he was drawn and why everybody in that show was drawn to her. Where I think if you had a different combination, it wouldn't have worked. You would have a completely different energy to that.
Interesting.
And so different people would be drawn to that. So I do. I think that played really well as to why these roles have been so perfect for her personality.
The only other drama with which I'm familiar is You're the Best. I want to say I'm not going to remember. It was shortened to You're the Best. It had a longer name, but it was like one of the 60 episode dramas.
Yeah.
And I watched maybe half of it. This is way back. But you mentioned spark, and her character had that spark as well. She wanted to be an actress, so she got into a trainee program and all of this. And her parents were very against. Her mom was very against
Was
it.
that with Jo Jung-suk?
Yes, it was.
Yes,
Yes, it
I think I
was.
watched like the first
Yes,
4
it was.
episodes of that. Yeah.
And
she did.
And also with the character who always dies after 2 episodes. He always
Yes.
plays the dad or the father figure, like in Fiery Priest, and he dies after 2 episodes. It was her dad in that too, and he died after 2
course.
episodes or 4 episodes because it was 60 episodes total.
He's contracted to only work 4 episodes.
But when you mentioned spark, her character had that spark as well.
Yeah, she does. She definitely's got that. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely her Leo, that Leo over there, for sure. So yeah, she's definitely one to watch. She's gonna be, yeah. Oh yeah, she's amazing. I'm super jazzed, and she's like my new girl crush. So, all right, you guys. Well, if you have any questions, and again, this is just all a very brief overview because it's really all we have time for. But I'm contemplating maybe jumping on the blog and diving into it a little bit more. Letting me know if that's something that you want to do or you want to talk about, and we'll go from there. That's our Astro Corner. We're the KThree. I'm Jen.
I'm Karen.
I'm Marisa.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment below and win one of these amazing cool hats. And if you want to see what we're currently liking, loving, or dropping over on our weekly watch list, check it out right there. We'll see you next time. Bye.